Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Honors you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm going to do this quick video, man. And this is more for me than anything else, man. Alright. As is the nature of the society, it's easy to get yourself entangled and entrapped by whatever's going on in your immediate surroundings. But in so thinking upon this predicament, as is it was it was a feeling to do this video, and then so therefore almost alleviate this particular issue, that being more spiritual. Okay, because the times we're getting into right now, you're going to require, and really that's one of the things you want to be praying for, of which I'm going to read you a scripture in a second that's going to tell you to be praying and praying without ceasing. All right, that's another way of being more spiritual. All right, getting into the Hebrew, but more abundantly getting more into the Hebrew prayer. See, not every brother is going to be an expert with the Hebrew, but you should know one or two prayers within the Hebrew. For instance, the Lord's Prayer, Abba Nawah Shabbat Shemayim Kadashia Shamkar, so on and so forth. All right, and the curses, certainly you're gonna know the curses. All right, and any other little minor prayer, some of the Psalms is good. All right, an exercise that you can do, all right, to be more spiritual, to learn the Hebrew and to get into more prayers all in one. It's going to the book of Psalms. All right here in the blue air. Obviously, you're gonna take it with a pinch of salt, as the elders have spoken about that in prior times. That it's not 100%, but that's the nature of the information that you have out here that we use to corroborate the evidence. All right, as corroborating evidence of what we have in the scriptures. In that a lot of it has to be sifted out by the scriptures. For instance, if a statement or a word within the blue letter, all right, doesn't coincide with what we know with the scriptures, guess what? All right, that's incorrect. That's an incorrect definition of that word, right? Or etymology of that word. All right, but for the most part, we find that the blue letter gives us an efficient enough tool, right, to decipher what's going on in terms of the Greek and the Hebrew. And the example I was making in terms of getting more into the Hebrew language and more into them prayers and more into them Psalms and getting more spiritual, you can go up into the Psalms, and you can translate your, you can have it to where you click the tools. And I'm gonna show you an example right here. I'm not gonna go to the book of Psalms, but you can see this as an example. Use your imagination here. Imagine this was the Psalms, for instance, and this was a prayer. You could literally have your a printout of the Hebrew letters, the alphabet. You can break all of these words down, and you can also go into the meanings. I mean, you can go in on this, and I'll give you a basic gist of what's happening on there. All right. For instance, one thing jumps out right at me: Kryptos. All right, that comes in I believe there's actually quite a wide variety of different words, of which that word Kryptos it's not only secret. I don't think it's only secret that word Kryptos covers in the Greek, but that's just something that jumped out at me. I'm not going to get into that. But like I was saying, you can go into that the Psalms. You could literally transfer those words for yourself within the Psalms in the Hebrew, all right, both in the Assyrian script and right into the Lashon Kodash, and that's going to help. That's helping me out. I'm not perfect. I only start the system up, but it's no good waiting until the system is perfected, right, to share it out there. But you can certainly do that. All right, and I'm gonna read a few scriptures, all right, pretty much based on that topic of being more spiritual. All right, and I'm gonna start off in the book of Matthew, the 6th chapter and the 19th verse. It says, "Lay not yourself treasures upon the earth." All right, and that could be anything, man. Hey, your immediate plans, your so-called long-term plans that you have out here within the society. You gotta be of the mindset that this society, we're getting ready to get out of this society. All right, we're getting ready to get out of the society. You can see the Most High heating up things, and you know what, man? You got brothers catching hell, but some brothers ain't. They're catching hell, but it's not to the same degree as other brothers are catching hell. That's why you got different rankings of brothers, because the Most High puts different brothers through different things. Hence the ranking systems that you have, what you find most, man, that spot that everybody envies, that top spot, man, that's usually the brothers that go through some situations, man. All right. All right, you know, in mind, I'm thinking about the elders. You know, they tell you straight up, man. They've been through certain situations, man. But getting back onto the point, all right, you know, it's easy. You know, when you get, it's not necessarily easy, but when you get entangled within the society, man, the things that's going on out here, man. All right, you start making, you know, plans about this, that, and the fact. You really don't want to be doing it, man. All right, and I know it says treasures, but plans as well is likened unto a treasure, because once it's fulfilled, man, it becomes pleasing unto you. All right, it says where moth and rust doth corrupt, where thieves break in and steal. Right, but lay up yourselves treasures within heaven. And that's like a twofold statement in that. Well, it's not really twofold, but to expound upon that statement, man. When you're doing this work, guess what, man? All the time you get back manyfold. You're gonna get it back, right? Within when the kingdom of heaven is set up upon the earth, man. You're gonna get that manyfold back. All right, it says where neither moth and rust doth corrupt, where thieves break in to steal, through nor steal. Right? It says for where the treasure is, there also your heart will be also. So your mind's gonna be focused upon wherever you're setting up, man. Wherever you think you're setting up. All right, and ultimately we know from the scriptures that the Most High is in control of everything. So really, you're just being set up to be destroyed. Okay. So it says, for where your treasure is, there also is your heart. It says, the light of the body is thine eye. Therefore, let thine eye be single. Be focused, man. You be focused, and you're going to be entranced in this truth. And the point that one of the elders mentioned, Elder Ricard, namely, when he was talking about a point, you know, almost a circular point, but it's something to take hold of, man. When you get into this truth and you get entranced within this truth, that's a similar sort of thing you want to apply to everything you do. If you're at work, you know, you get into it, man. You know, you forget all of those distractions, because what's going to happen is when you get focused like that, man, you're going to be in a persistent state of thinking about this truth, man. And a lot of the stuff that's going to be going on around you, you're going to consider it folly, man. Now, I ain't saying, you know, what I'm not saying is get into your work. What I'm saying is don't be so distracted. All right, let your eye be single. If you're at work, then you know you have to be at work. Then work. All right. If you're at the gym, you know you have to be at gym to build your mind up. Then do that. All right. But what I found myself doing sometimes, man, you get so distracted. You get in, you know, watching the girlies. All right, looking around and all of that. All right, because you know we're Israelites and that. But really, that's detrimental to this truth, because you're gonna apply the same. You know, that's who you are. So you're gonna apply the same thing when you're at the camp. So you're gonna be out there at the camp. And yes, you got the same lack of focus, man. That short attention span, right? To where you're not going to be putting the fullness of what you're supposed to, the fullness of your strength into what you're supposed to be doing. You're not going to be focused. That's it. What the scripture says here. What it says, where am I? Therefore, let thine eye be single. All right, that whole body shall be full of light. Okay. Right, so you're gonna get into a spirit of being more focused, and like I said, I'm not talking about getting into the society. I'm saying you don't want to be the guy that gets easily distracted, man. Right, you're gonna be in the spirit where you can just do something and you be into that and you snap into something else, man. All right, and that's how I think about the problem right now. And this is just basic bread and butter scriptures, man. And I find myself, you know, getting into these bread and butter scriptures every time I, you know, do one of these videos these days, because you know, these are the fundamental scriptures that when you get tested, you want to be thinking about. All right, this is 1 Thessalonians 5:17. It says, "Pray without ceasing." So you just pray without ceasing, man. That's self-explanatory. All right. Another one: study to show thyself approved. This is 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman even not being ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So you gotta be approved. The only way you can be approved, you get your seal of approval, so to speak, is to study, man. All right, that's another way of being more spiritual. You gotta entrance yourself within this truth. When you go into the book of St. John 6:63, it says, "The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life." So where are you gonna find this word? Where are you gonna find this life? All right, you can find it by way of the videos that the elders push out. right? The studying that you're gonna ultimately do by way of the videos and all of that, man. The history, all of that. That's all spirit and life, but more specifically, right? The scriptures. But you need one to teach you, and the Most High set up the elders to teach. All right. It says rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay, because you got guys out here proud and that that statement spirit that's spiritual because I was even going to talk about them guys. We got guys out here that got issues of pride and they don't want to follow the men that taught them from when they were youths, right? Spiritual youths. Okay, so this is in the book of really you can find a lot of scriptures talking about pride. All right, you could do a whole lesson just on that, man. All right. But the one I wanted was in the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter and the 18th verse. It says, pride goeth before destruction. All right. When you're not being spiritual, guess what? You usually get into a state of being proud. Because when you study, man, you realize you really don't know anything, man, about anything. All right. When you get into the spirit, the Most High will deliver you from certain situations, and you're like, damn, I thought I had that on lock, man. I thought I had that down on pack, man. All right. And really, it's not so much the delivering that should bother you. Really, you should rejoice that the Most High has moved you in from that situation. And I'm pretty sure brothers will attest to that statement, man. All right, that when you get put into situations and the Most High takes you out of that situation, that humbles a man's spirit. But see, when you get proud like that, man, the Most High will just let you get on with it. You might get away with it a few times, but that's not the scripture say. The Lord is slow to anger, man. All right, ultimately. All right, he's going to destroy you for that. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. All right, and I wanted to wrap it up within this one. This is the second. I read this one all the time, man. All right, but it's so important. It's such an important scripture to remember, especially when you're catching hell, man. All right, the book of Ecclesiasticus, the second chapter and the first verse, it says, my son, if thou wilt come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You got to prepare your soul for temptation. Right now, you could do that all kind of ways. Ultimately, right? The best way you could do that is by studying more. But then studying more gives more help because the scripture tells you that, man. Right? I believe it's in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter and the 7th verse. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. So the more wisdom you acquire, the more oppression you're gonna acquire, but more strength you're gonna acquire at the same time. Right? There's multiple ways you can prepare your soul for temptation. You got to build your mind up, man. Right, a lot of these, you got a lot of weak jakes out here, man. You got some, emotional ass jake. Now, you know what? I say that for myself. I used to be an emotional jake, but guess what, man? Right, you gotta get out. You gotta snap out of that spirit, man. Right, you gotta snap out of that spirit, man, because that spirit is it's counterproductive, man. That's a counterproductive spirit to be in, man. Guess if you're a weak, small guy, get yourself in the gym, train, man. All right, get yourself down, do some boxing, do something that's gonna build your mind, man. Don't be so goddamn emotional, man. You see these guys like Sakari and all of that getting emotional because you can't follow some fucking order. But when you go really into how men are supposed to be raised up, man, you're supposed to be into sports. Order is something you should have learned from when you was young, man. You was playing some sports with your pops, man, right? Or your coach. Right, you got a leader, the so-called captain. You got to follow what the captain says. And hey, the captain, you got a captain when you got to go into the damn camps, man. Some guys get emotional about the guys, he's in charge of them. All right, but they haven't gone through all the tests and tribulations that man's been put in to be in that situation, man. Right, you gotta get snap out of that emotional situation. You gotta forsake them emotion, but doth not the scripture say a man doesn't get entangled? A soldier doesn't need to get entangled with the affairs of this world, man. All right, you gotta be like a samurai. Now, hey, pure movies show you situations where samurai had women or wives or whatever, but they really didn't even deal with them like that. Oh, I saw this one movie, man. Right, and the woman was raw, man, because she understood what she was dealing with, man. And the guy came home. He said, "Yo, I've been away, man." And she's like, "Yeah, man, I understand, man. I married a samurai." All right. And that's really the mentality that this truth, requires, man. You ain't gonna be all this ain't family value. Look, man, this ain't IUIC, man. You can get no family values out here. You're gonna get built up, right? And if you don't get built up right, guess what? You're gonna get kicked out by the Spirit or by way of the elders, man. I can only pray for myself that I don't get kicked out, and you brothers out there don't get kicked out, man. All right. She set that in the heart, all right, and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. So, you go through a situation, you want to get a quick fix. And that's what Jake really is all about, quick fixes, man. Right? Instant cocoa, man. This ain't instant cocoa truth, man. All right? It takes time. All right? Certain situations just take time, man. Why? To build your fucking mind up, to build your spirit up, to say, yeah, I did that for this long, and the most I moved that situation. But guess what? All right, I've been in this situation. It's a better situation. I only been in it for a month, but I caught hell for years and years. But I can't remember any of the hell that I caught. Right? Why? Because when you read the scriptures, man, the scripture says, man, when in the time of prosperity, you don't remember your when you was catching hell, man. Right? And it's and vice versa. When you're catching hell, you don't remember the times of prosperity, but the times of prosperity for the Spirit are coming by way of the destruction of the society, man. So what should you be praying mostly for, man? Like it says, pray without ceasing. Pray for the destruction of this society. That's the ultimate fix of this society, man. All right, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest increase at the last end. All right. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take thee cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee, and order thy way outright, and trust in him. All right. And that's pretty much it, Like I said, this lesson really is for myself first, and then if you brothers find it edifying, you find it edifying. All right. With that, I must say double honors to the apostles of GMS, on you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.